Hello there, and welcome to this week's Heart to Heart. I'm Karin Del Maestro, your host, breast cancer BRCA2 thriver, and also your health and transformation coach. And today we are going to be talking about if you are feeling tired all the time, even though treatment's done, even though you think that you should be back to normal, even though it's been 6 months, maybe a year since active treatment ended or longer. I'm going to be sharing with you the 3 biggest mistakes that I see all the time so that you can avoid them. Right? I want to help shortcut this for you. So I'm glad that you're here. And if you're here on live with me, pop into the comments, say hi, let me know who's here. And I just want to share, I feel like I'm like this today because it's chilly. I live in Florida in the US, and it is chilly today. It's like in the 40s, which I know for those of you up north are laughing at me right now. I had to go get socks, which I'm not used to wearing anymore. And I know it makes me sound really spoiled, but trust me, I lived in New Jersey for 30 years. I know what it's like to be cold, and we choose to be in warmer weather now. My body prefers it too. So as you're popping in and saying hi, let me know what you're drinking today. I've got my cup of tea here, and today I'm actually drinking this one here, Organic India. It's a Tulsi tea. I love that it's organic. The tea bags are not bleached, and it's stress relieving and energizing, but still caffeine free. So this is what I'm drinking today, right? Who doesn't want to relieve that stress but have more energy? We're talking about that, getting more energy. So I thought that my tea was appropriate for what we're talking about today. So, as I said, if you're on live with us, pop in, say hi, let me know who's on, who's watching. And let me start off by saying, I think that one of the biggest surprises that I hear from most breast cancer survivors is that they're surprised at how exhausted and drained they are all the time, especially after active treatment is over. I think there's this expectation that we're going to click our fingers, you're done, and you ring the bell, or your doctor says, I'll see you in 3 months. And we have this expectation that we're just going to bounce back, that our energy level is just going to be there, right? You may have experienced this. If this sounds like what your expectation was, drop a Y in the chat. I know it was mine, much to my chagrin. Because the truth is, and this is what I've learned, is that the next stage of recovery starts after active treatment ends. And there is this baseline of fatigue that our doctors rarely tell us about, that is called breast cancer related fatigue. Okay, you may or may not have heard of it. My doctor certainly didn't tell me. So there's this baseline of fatigue because we've been through a trauma. No matter what your stage, no matter what your treatment, you have been through a trauma. Okay, your body has gone into survival mode. Fight, right? And that, right, when we're in that survival mode, we're go, go, go. Next appointment, next treatment, next test, the horrible waiting in between for the next result. And we're just going, going, going. It's when that stops that our body starts to go back into what's known as our parasympathetic nervous system, where we're coming out of fight or flight, and our body then needs to recover. We need to heal. And so, yes, there is this baseline of fatigue. But what is also not talked about is that there are many things that stack on top of that fatigue where we can do something about it. And I don't know about you, but I like to try to focus on things that I can do, that I can control, versus things that I can't, right? For me, that's where I want my energy to go. And so When we are tired all the time, we have to look at, where is our energy going? Is it serving you, right? Is it topping you up, or is it draining you more? So let's dive in. And by the way, as somebody that used to be the quintessential people pleaser, who always used to put herself on the back burner to take care of everybody else, I can relate to so many of these things. But what I've also learned in this journey, and please pay attention here, right? If you are a carer, a giver, I mean, I cannot tell you how many of my clients are nurses or teachers or coaches, people that care for other people as a profession. There is a link between putting ourselves on the back burner and breast cancer, as discovered and discussed by Dr. W. Douglas Brody, whose work I dug into after my own diagnosis, because it connected so many dots for me. If you want to dive more into that, let me know. I've got some great resources on it. So just let me know in the chat if you need more information on that. So let's talk about these three biggest mistakes that I would love for you to avoid. Okay. Number one, and this is the biggest mistake that I see, is you spend your time and energy trying to go back to your pre-cancer life. Drop a 1 in the chat if that sounds like you. And by the way, this is most people that I talk to, right? After any trauma, not just breast cancer, but any trauma, we have this safety mechanism kind of built into us, right? To go back to what we know, what we've done before, what feels comfortable, what feels safe, because it's what we know. But we can't go back. We can't go back. And so when we are spending so much of our time and our energy focused on what happened in the past, how life was in the past, how relationships were in the past, your job, your body, who you were as a woman, you're not her anymore. But it doesn't have to be a bad thing. And you see me smiling here. And the reason you see me smiling is because when we can let go of trying to go back, say, okay, this is a new journey. It's kind of exciting. It's like going on safari, going on an adventure. What is in front of me that I can create? What's in front of me that is going to change my life for the better? Now, I know that might sound a bit scary, right? Because it's unknown. But here's the thing, and this is where my personal experience comes in. This is where I get to be so confident in knowing that that is what happens. Because after going through divorce, life-altering car accident where I lost everything, much like many of us do during breast cancer, right? I lost my job, I lost my house, I lost all of that, those things that were what I knew that was safe that I had been doing. I've lost my mom, dad, and younger brother. I moved house 7 times, had to kind of start over again in the past 8 years. Breast cancer, BRCA2, my husband going through a motorcycle accident, almost losing his right arm. Most recently, Hurricane Ian. And those are like the cliff notes, right? And I'm always amazed when I list all of those things. But here's the deal. You've been through your stuff too. I know that these kind of traumas and difficult times are not exclusive to me and my family. You've been through your stuff too. And what I learned through that life-altering car accident 10 years ago was that you have an opportunity when you go through something that kind of levels the playing field and you're faced with a blank slate, when you lose everything. And there's a great book called Broken Open by Elizabeth Lesser. And she talks about when you lose everything, when you feel like so open and so raw, it's an amazing opportunity to become the phoenix that rises from the ashes. Or you can stay there. You can stay there and just keep looking back, keep wishing you were back there. Now, I'm a silver linings queen. I like to find the silver lining in everything, even the rough stuff. I look for the lesson. What can I learn? And then I share the lesson that I learned with all of you because I'm not selfish. I share the lesson to hopefully shortcut your pain, your difficulty. That's why we're sharing these 3 biggest mistakes today, so that you're not making them too. So what you may have felt is that life doesn't fit quite right anymore. Right? You might feel like you're a square peg trying to fit in a round hole. And that's because you are not the same anymore. Because life is not the same anymore. When we go through trauma, when we go through something big in our life, our perspective changes. We change. Our relationships change. Again, doesn't need to be bad. These things can be amazing when we accept them and not fight with them. So instead of looking at a cancer diagnosis as a brick wall and just trying to go back, I invite you to think of it as looking at a path, a fork in the road. One goes back, and life wasn't all brilliant before. Let's be real. Yeah, there were good bits, but there are also bits that you really don't want. So why not invite in the good bits? Bring them onto this path now that we're walking. Bring those in. Invite more things like that in so that you can get to actually enjoy your life. Because guess what happens to your energy level when you're focused on moving forward versus trying to ram against that brick wall and moving back? Right? We've got more energy. We're not wasting, because where our mind goes, our energy flows. So when our mind is spinning on, I just want to be back, I just want to go back, I just want life to be the same, I want to feel like my old self, all of these things that spin, 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 that's your energy getting sucked dry. Instead, start to look at the path going forward and say, what can I do that's actually going to feel good? Invite the feeling in that you are looking for. We actually have the ability to be able to do that. It's amazing. It's amazing. So that's number 1. Stop trying to go back. Just say, okay, clean slate. What do I want going forward? And if you need help with that, then the New Year self-care reset that's coming up this Saturday is for you, because I'm going to help you figure out some of that path of what's going forward, what you want, and how you want to feel. Okay? The second mistake that I see people trying to make all the time that's affecting your energy level is ignoring what you need and pushing yourself to just focus on what everybody else needs. I mean, we all know it's so much easier, right? So much easier. And as I said, I used to be the people pleaser. I used to just focus every ounce of my energy on what everybody else needs, trying to make everybody happy. I didn't succeed. I don't know about you, but it's like there's always somebody that's not happy, no matter how hard you try. And for me, that triggered feelings of not being good enough. That triggered so many feelings of insecurity for me, and old stories and beliefs that I had growing up. Because I grew up feeling that no matter what I did, it was never good enough. I grew up feeling like I didn't belong. I didn't fit into my family, my world, just didn't fit me. Somehow I was different. I always felt like I was the black sheep. And when we focus on what everybody else wants, we're always going to feel that way. And again, where our mind goes, our energy flows. So as we are focusing on what everybody else needs, what's happening to our energy? Right? It's being sucked dry. It's coming out of us. And so, and I know that this is such a hard shift. I really do. But this one shift is the game changer. It really is. And the more that I go through these processes with my clients, with myself, the more I see evidence that this is the one shift, right? Because when we are focused on what everybody else needs, we're not focusing on what we need to recover or what we need to heal or what we need for more energy. We forego ourselves, right? We put our walk off until the end of the day because it's the only time that's left, and then we're too tired. Or we're running around all day taking care of all of the other things and forget to get something for dinner and end up ordering pizza again, which we know is not going to be the best choice to get your energy back or to stay healthy. So when our energy is going outward on everybody else, this is not helping your fatigue level at all. Think about it. How can we get more energy when every ounce of everything we have is going out to everybody else? And there's one way to top up your body to get more energy, and that is to pour into you with self-care, right? And you heard me mention the New Year self-care reset. I am going to be pouring into you for 2 hours this coming Saturday during this reset. And I'm going to be helping you to focus on just you. Come on, kind of sounds like heaven a bit, right? So if you've ever said, I just want to go to a desert island for 3 months and nobody talk to me, nobody pull at me, nobody be like pulling me in a million pieces, this is for you. This is for you. And I'm going to make sure that wherever you're watching this video, there's going to be a link for you to sign up, or you can just drop a me in the comments and I'll make sure that you get the link to register for this super special event coming up on Saturday. Now, the third mistake that I see people making all the time is not saying no. Do you have a hard time saying no? Drop a Y in the comments if you do. Let me know. I used to. Oh my gosh, I so used to. And I would just, no matter what I had going on, I would just say yes, right? I used to think that, and I didn't even think about it at the time, but when I look back now and kind of analyze a little bit, I think for me, it meant that if I couldn't do it all, then I was somehow lacking, that I was somehow not good enough. And that was the belief that I had. And so that's what I ended up doing, saying yes, trying to make everybody else happy, not wanting to make waves, not wanting to hurt somebody's feelings, not wanting to disappoint people. And I remember just feeling all of those things. But I also remember the resentment. I remember the fatigue. I remember feeling at times, honestly, like I was a doormat and people just walked all over me. Until I realized that all of that happened because I, maybe like you, had a hard time saying no. So when we look at what that does to our energy level, right? Because we're talking about if we're tired all the time, what can we do about it? We have to get comfortable with saying no. We have to. I'm also going to be actually sharing with you the formula that I've used with my clients for the past 10 years or so to help them say no with ease and grace. We're going to be talking about that in the self-care reset because this is such a big thing when it comes to our energy level, right? Can you imagine what it would be like to be able to say no and not feel bad about it? Not feel guilty, not feel like you're letting people down or you're hurting their feelings? Because there's a way. And trust me, as a Brit, right, somebody that grew up in the UK, one of the things that I think is hopefully very obvious about me is that I'm very polite, right? I'm not mean or rude or disrespectful. That's not who I am at all. I'm very polite. And so I've actually created 9 polite ways to say no. You get that when you join us on Saturday because it's almost like we need a script. We need to learn how to say no for it to become more comfortable, right? And the script, you make yours, you make it authentic to you. Your voice is not my voice, but it's a starting place, right? And I created this because clients would actually say to me, Karen, but can you help me actually put the words together because I don't even know what to say, how to say it without feeling like I'm being rude or mean or disrespectful. And that's where that list came from. So if you want that list, come join us on Saturday for the New Year's Self-Care Reset. 2 hours where I get to pour into you. So let's just recap these 3 mistakes that the most common mistakes that I see people making that are adding to that base level of breast cancer related fatigue. And let me know how many of these 3, is it 1, is it 2, is it 3? Drop that number in the chat. How many of them can you relate to? How many of these are you doing and how is it adding to your level of fatigue? So number 1 was trying to go back to your old life, trying to go back to who you used to be, trying to go back to doing everything the way that you used to. That's number 1. Number 2 is you focus all of your energy outward on everybody else because it's easier. It's easier than trying to focus on you. Somehow focusing on ourselves feels much harder, but it's necessary. It's the shift. That's what I'm going to help you make in the self-care reset. And number 3 is that you have a hard time saying no. These are the 3 biggest mistakes that I see people making that are adding to your level of fatigue. These are things that you can change. These are things that you can control. These are things that are also going to not only boost your energy, but help you stay healthy because these things are all part of the cancer personality profile. That's why they're so crucially important if we want to stay healthy. We need to make that shift to taking care of us first. So I've mentioned throughout this episode today, the New Year Self-Care Reset. I will make sure that the link is around this video, wherever you're watching it. And during that time, it's 2 whole hours. I am going to be pouring into you. You are going to discover what you want, right? We talked about the path going forward. We need to figure out what you want. What's in front of you that you get to go grab, that you get to be excited about, something to look forward to, the way that you want to feel in your life, right? We're going to be talking about how to retrain your attention. So instead of that attention going outward to everybody else, we get to kind of hit the pause button. Hit the pause button, lower the anxiety, bring yourself back to you and go inward. Amazing. We're going to be doing some exercises for that, some breathwork exercises, some mindfulness exercises to help you do that. And third, you're going to learn the formula for setting healthy boundaries. How to say no and not feel bad about it. I mean, come on, that sounds amazing. I wish I'd have had that opportunity years ago. And the courage to say, yes, this is what I need to do to take better care of me, to get my energy back, to start creating a healthy, vibrant, joyous life. Because after all, isn't that why you fought so hard? You didn't fight hard to be exhausted all the time. You didn't fight hard to not participate in your life because you're too tired. You didn't fight to isolate you from your loved ones. Because these are things that happen when we don't have the energy to show up. I want you to have the energy to show up. I want you to have the energy to show up, grab life, and get some joy and happiness from it. Does that sound good? I hope so. So I'm going to drop the link so that you can come join us at this New Year's self-care reset. Start the year the way that you want to go on. Start the year by focusing on you, getting your energy back, get your life back. But this new, exciting, better than before life. I don't know about you, but that sounds pretty damn good to me. So I'll drop the link so that you can register for that. It's just $37. $37, 2 hours for you. I can't wait. I am so looking forward to it. So thank you again for watching today. We were talking about the 3 biggest mistakes. When you're tired all the time, are you making these 3 biggest mistakes? Recognize things. That's all. Don't judge. Just observe. Be curious. Are you making these mistakes? If so, then our New Year self-care reset this coming Saturday has got your name written all over it. All over it. And I really hope to see you there. So again, thank you for watching. I'm your health and transformation coach, Karin Del Maestro. You can find me hanging out most days over in our Healthy Living After Breast Cancer Facebook community and also on my website, karindelmaestro.com. Thank you so much for watching. You are so welcome. I'm seeing some thank yous in the comments. I hope this was helpful. And I hope we maybe had a few light bulb moments today about where your energy is going, this precious commodity that we have. Be aware of where it's going and know that you can change the way that you are doing certain things to get it back. Versus just waiting, sucking it up, waiting for it to arrive. No, let's start making some changes today. Okay. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Have an amazing, amazing week. And next week, by the way, super special event coming up next Monday for our Heart to Heart. I am going to be bringing you 2 other amazing cancer coaches. The 3 of us are going to be hosting once a month a Cancer Coaches Corner. Bring all your questions. Next week, we're going to be talking about what cancer taught us. Okay. And we hope that this insight that we'll be sharing is going to help you move forward in your cancer journey. Okay. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I will see you next week with my dear friends and looking forward to it. Bye for now.